and several other private sectors. So we are here today to learn ethical hacking. So before learning or before starting our session on ethical hacking, there are certain things that I want to discuss with everybody. Of you. Am I audible clearly?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible clearly? Okay. Okay. So the thing is, nowadays, everyone, I assume most of you or all of you are students of BTech, BTech engineering, maybe computer science and IT courses. So nowadays, people are looking ethical hacking as a career also. But there are certain things that I want to discuss with you just before starting our session. So one thing is that to understand ethical hacking and to be a ethical hacker, because ethical hacking is a profession. Some people or some students nowadays, most of the students have this idea that ethical hacking is something like what a real hacker do. So it is like hacking. So we will understand what is hacking and what is the difference between ethical hacking and a normal hacking, or what a hacker do and what a ethical hacker do. Those things we will discuss in the class. But one thing I want to share with everybody, that to understand ethical hacking in a good way, people should have a good understanding of some basic fundamentals of IT infrastructure related topics. So some prerequisites that everyone should have if he wants to become a ethical hacker in future, and if he wants to take his career in ethical hacking, then there are certain things that he should have knowledge before going for it. And one more thing, the course that we will be doing here for the next 14 days, 13 or 14 days, so this course is normally it's a 52 hours course, and it takes around 2 to 3 months to complete this course. In a normal scenario, a student completes this course within 2 to 3 months, maybe 2 hours per day, maybe 3 days a week or 2 days a week. So in that way, he completes this course within 2 to 3 months. We are going to complete this with the next 2 weeks, maybe next 13 days or 14 days. So we will have to be a little bit fast in this course, but still there are certain things we should discuss because sometimes I may come up with certain topics which you may found or you may find are difficult to understand. So that's why I'm discussing that what are the prerequisites for someone who goes for an ethical hacking course, or if you have a career as an ethical hacker. So if we go for a normal scenario, like for the traditional education that we are going in schools and colleges, if someone is if want to have his academics in a proper way, and then he wants to go for a ethical hacker's career, then the normal scenario is you can go for any basic computer course or like BCA course, or maybe you have done graduation in any stream, but then you have decided to opt for the IT industry, for the IT jobs. So you can, though you have done graduation in arts, commerce, or whatever may be stream, you can do a postgraduate diploma in computer application. Side by side, there are ways like people who have done graduation, maybe BTech or maybe general graduates, they also can do some certifications. Like there are certifications you must have heard. One is CCNA certification. This is mostly for Cisco products. Cisco router. Cisco is a big brand. Their router and switches are widely used all over the world. So it's a networking course. If someone does a CCNA course, then he gets a good hold on networking, and then he can easily understand the other topics. Because networking is a thing which is required in every field nowadays. If you go for cloud computing, if you go for ethical hacking, if you go for any other latest technologies, you need to have a sound knowledge of networking, because networking is the background behind each of the latest technologies that are coming every day. So networking knowledge is required. Second thing is, if you go for a global certification, you can go for MCSA. It is a Microsoft certified system administrator. It's a Microsoft certification. CCNA is a Cisco certification. Then there are authority called Red Hat Corporation. They issue certificate on Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So there are some Linux knowledge is also required in ethical hacking. There are certain parts, certain topics where you need to have a basic understanding of the Linux. So it's not possible to train you on networking and Linux and everything on this single course. So that's why I'm discussing these things that maybe you will find some certain things not understood. You can ask me. I will definitely try to solve your query. I will try to make you understand if you are not clear about the topics. And then again, if someone does some programming course, because nowadays in an advanced level of ethical hacking, people do need to know a little bit of programming, coding, Python language or any other good scripting language, SQL, Oracle. So these are some advanced level things when people go to advanced stage in ethical hacking. They need a little bit of programming knowledge. So it could be any course from any private institution or maybe MCA or MTech level. There he will get programming knowledge. Then now after you complete all this, you have a networking knowledge, you have got a Windows knowledge, that's operating system, only Windows, you need to have operating system knowledge, and you have a knowledge in Linux, then you can actually, you are ready to go for an ethical hacking course. That makes you ready to understand the ethical hacking subject. And so nowadays there are several certification, like there is a EC Council, organization called EC Council. They issue a certificate called Certified Ethical Hacker. That is the basic certification that everyone does. But nowadays the most popular certification that is going on all around is OSCP, is Offensive Security Certified Professional. So it is also a separate organization who gives this certificate, and it's very costly certificate. This OSCP one, I think OSCP is currently the certification cost is around 1 lakh rupees or something. So anyway, that is the topmost certificate that is available on this field. Now, if someone is not going through the traditional way, like PGDCA, PGDCA or anything, then also he can learn ethical hacking, because ethical hacking is thing. If you, even if you don't have a traditional degree, if you don't have a proper degree from any institute or college, then also with your curiosity you can learn many things. And so in that way also you need to have these things, like you need to have a hands-on practice on Linux. If you have a Linux terminal at your home, at your desktop, or at your laptop, you can do some practice, the basic operation of Linux, day-to-day Linux. So you'll be more comfortable. And second thing, network fundamentals is definitely required, because see, the ethical hacking enables you to hack into someone's network. Okay, someone's network or maybe someone's system. Uh, but if you don't know the architecture between a system, an operating system, and if you don't know the architecture between network infrastructure, what is the architecture, how network is built, what is a gateway, what is a router, what is a switch, how packets move from a node, from a host to the switch, and then from switch to the router, and then router to many routers, maybe some firewalls also in between. So the packet needs to move from the firewall, and then finally it gets into the destination. So if you don't know the basic background of operating system or networking and all this, so like if you want to break uh, locker, you need to understand of what material the locker is made, whether the locker is made of brass material, or it's made of silver, or it is made of gold, or whatever. So you need to understand the making of that locker so that you can break that lock. So similarly, if you want to become a good ethical hacker, or if you want to take ethical hacking into your career, so you need to understand networking fundamentals technique. So to understand networking fundamentals, nowadays it is seen that in many colleges and schools, I've seen many of my students, they are using a software called Packet Tracer. So Packet Tracer is also a good which helps you in learning day-to-day based network, the networking knowledge. Even if you don't have a physical network at your end, if you don't have router, if you don't have switch, still with the packet tracer software. It is a free software you can download from Cisco's website. So with that software, you can have a good understanding of networking concepts. You can do hands-on this with that software. And then if you are clear with the networking fundamentals, if you're clear with Linux and a little bit of knowledge of operating system, then you can go for basics of ethical hacking. And finally, if someone becomes very good in ethical hacking, then there are certain programs, we call it bug bounty programs. So bug is, I think most of you know what a bug is. Can someone tell me what is a bug? Am I audible?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, but
Yeah,
not clearly, sir.
yeah. No problem. Whatever is in your mind, you can tell me. It's not that I'm taking some exam or something. We are just in a discussion session. What is your level of knowledge? I need to understand. If you are not at all, you don't have any knowledge, I will discuss on it. So whatever comes into your mind, you can share with me.
Sir, it is a software flaw.
It is a software flaw. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a
In
software
An
flaw.
error, sir.
general,
An
it's a
error or
software
fault.
flaw. Pardon? Can you answer once again?
Error or a fault, sir. Fault or an error.
I cannot hear you properly. Is there a way you can message me something on the? There is some chat option. I think there is chat option also. Can you send me some chat, whatever you're thinking? One of you have told that it's a software flaw. So yeah, okay. PV says error or fault. Definitely, it's a error or fault. But error or fault in what? Where? Where is the error? Where is the fault? It's a human error, it's a machinery error, it's a software error, it's a hardware error. Error can be many times. Okay.
Software error,
So
sir.
bug general software error. So yeah, software error definitely it's a, we call it bug because programmers and developers who develop software programs, uh, there are some people who are there for testing a software. Some people are there who are creating the software, who are developing the software, and there are some people who are testing the software. Their job is just to test the software. They are not into coding and programming. They are there. They are paid, and their job role, we call them tester, software tester. They are a software tester professional in industry, in software industry. So what they do is they uh, give some load, payload into the software. Maybe the software is built for 10 users. They will try to use it for 20 users, 30 users, and then they will come up with a report whether the software can handle more than 10 users or not. And even if the software is made for 10 users, say, or maybe one user, if it's one-to-one software, then also whatever the purpose of the software for which the software has been built, the tester will check all the necessary attributes of the software. He will check each and every part, each and every functionality that is there, every tab and button that is available in the software, and then he will come up with a report that okay, whether the software has got some problem, some issues, or if the software is working fine. If the software is working fine, then they will create a report and send to the developer team that yeah, we have tested the software and it is working fine. And if they found something, so that is the bug. Now, this bug can be software level, in a level of software, but again, there could be such a scenario where the software maybe is 100%, it's a bug-free software. There is no problem in the software. But the thing is, when that software is run into a network, in a office LAN network or maybe some corporate network, then uh, there could be issue with your networking infrastructure also. Like the software is meant to be used by the office users only. It is a private software. It has been developed for the office employees only. But maybe there is a flaw with your network hardware, like say network router, maybe a flaw with your network switch, or maybe there is a flaw with your network firewall. So these router, switch, firewall, these are all hardware devices. So again, when I train my students with basic hardware and network, I tell them that every hardware is useless if there is no software in it. So if you buy a good computer with high RAM and processor and hard disks, everything, but if you don't install an operating system, and then after the operating system, there are some system drivers that are required. So if you don't install them, then there is no use of having such a good hardware available to you. So these bugs can be in software level as well as these bugs can be in network level also. Some hardware level, maybe in the router, the operating system that is running in the router, maybe that software got in, and that's why it is giving an access, an undue access to the internal network from the external network. The people who are coming from the external network to access the web server, the firewall is not configured properly or the router is not configured properly. So people who are browsing that website, they are also getting access to the internal network of the company or the organization. So to identify all these things, there are some programs with some big corporates like could be Amazon, could be Flipkart, could be Facebook. So these corporates sometimes they launch some bug bounty programs. The purpose of this program is you have to find some bug in their software, and if if you are very much confident that yes, this is a bug and this can be exploited to have an unauthorized access into the database system or maybe the internal network of Facebook or maybe whatever application, Instagram. So you can report that to that organization that you have found this bug into their software, and if they will also verify that whether the bug for which you are talking, whether it's genuinely exists or not. They will also verify, and if they found that yes, there is some bug, so they will give you some prize money, some reward. So that's why the term is bug bounty. Bug is the error, and bounty is some reward. So you are being rewarded for finding some bug bounty. Anyway, so this was the all basic introductory thing that I wanted to discuss with all of you before starting the session. So now I will start the session that we will be continuing. So now I'm going to the presentation. So in this session, we will learn the key issues that are there in information security world, as well as the essential elements that are the essential parts of information security. What is ethical hacking? The different types of hacking, types of hackers, explain the types of attacks, explain the purpose of ethical hacking, why should someone uh, learn ethical hacking, what is the benefit of ethical hacking, what are the different phases of ethical hacking, and what are the different laws. Definitely there has to be some law, because otherwise the thing is, though I am training you in an academic purpose, but you can use it to harm somebody, or maybe you use it for some negative impact to anybody in the society. So there are certain laws to prevent that. And then what is penetration testing? So before I start, what is, anybody can tell me what is their idea? What is ethical hacking? Can somebody tell me? Whatever comes to your mind, you can just share. Am I
Sir,
audible?
to exploit the system or the network with the permission of its owner
To exploit the system in order to,
in order to protect that in future by taking the permission of its
Sir, I
owner,
guess
sir.
sir, ethical
yeah.
hacker finds out the vulnerability of the computer system without harming anyone.
Okay, I think maybe some language or something is not clear. Whoever is telling what is, just type in the chat box. It will be more clear. Just type in a few phrases, whatever you are telling. So someone told that it is a authorized uh, attack into a network, right? Someone told like that, and someone was telling, though the voice was not clear. You can just type in the chat box. So the thing is, when we call the term ethical hacking, if we remove the word ethical, so it is just hacking. Okay. So Ankit has written to gain unauthorized access. Okay. So to gain unauthorized access is called hacking. Okay. If I remove the term ethical, then the term that remains is hacking. For that, the definition is to gain unauthorized access. It's called hacking. And Rishita has written, ethical hacking are those hacking who finds out the vulnerability of the computer system without any bad intention. This is partially correct. That ethical hacking are doing work like a hacker, like any other hacker, what the hacker's job is, but they are not harming anybody. So this is partially correct. And then Rachita says, I think it's the legal way of hacking. Yeah. So these last two, Rita and Rachita, if I combine both these, so that makes the good definition of ethical hacking. And Divi says authorized attempt to gain authorized access. Okay. So now I sum up all these three. That ethical hacking is is definitely hacking into someone's network, but a normal hacker hacks into someone's network or system without his prior permission, without taking permission. He just hacks into anybody's system or network. Ritesh says it is the hacking into a computer system or network to exploit it by taking the permission. Yeah. So, why the term ethical is used? Because ethical is something which should be very organized and which should not be illegal. The term ethical is something related to legal, not illegal. If we just use the word hacking, then it is an illegal thing without taking proper authorization from the owner of the network or the system. You are trying to access his system. So that is hacking and that is illegal. But ethical hacking is a legal way of hacking into someone's network or maybe someone's system with with prior permission from the owner. Now, question comes that why should someone give me a permission to hack into his system? Because if I'm hacking into his system, that means I'm getting access to his system. I can take away any files or folders or any confidential information from his system, from his network. So why should someone give me permission? The answer to this is uh, someone or some corporate organization will hire an ethical hacker. Ethical hacker is a professional. He's a professional hacker with he will hack with legal ways, and someone hires an ethical hacker just to find out the loopholes or the bugs or the any types of faults that are there in the software or the hardware architecture of the network. So maybe the company's owner or maybe the company's management will hire an ethical hacker. Now normal hacker is he is a person who just thinks whatever target he wants to hack, he just uh, tries his attempt to hack into his system, and he not a paid professional. He earns by hacking into someone's system and then stealing data from his system and then selling those data or maybe taking some undue advantage of those data. Then he gains some money from the market. That is a hacker's way. But ethical hacker is hacking into someone's system with prior permission from the owner, and owner is giving permission just to understand that what are the loopholes present in his network or in his system. So actually, an ethical hacker's main purpose is to create a report. His main intention is not to grab someone's private data. His main intention is not to take undue advantage of confidential information from someone's system or network. His main job is to find out the loopholes that are present into a corporate network and then prepare a report. His final job is to prepare a report where he will mention that I have done all my testing in your network, in your system, and I have come up with these levels of bugs or these of flaws or fault in your system, in your network, in your operating systems. So you need to fix those things. So that is debugging. So debugging, generally the term debugging we use in software, but here in hardware also there could be some misconfiguration. The way the hardware should have been configured, it has not been done in that way. Whoever the system administrator, whoever the network administrator is, he has mistakenly has not configured certain parameters of his router or firewall, and those uncontrolled parameters makes the network vulnerable to external users or hackers. So the final job of the ethical hacker is to prepare a report and hand over that report to the owner of the company who has hired him. So when he will submit that report, then the company will pay him because of his effort and because of his report. And they will also check, he will just create a report and they will take it and keep into a locker. Not that, they will also verify whether the report that he has given, whether it's justified or not. They will also check with those parameters. If he says that okay, your port 80 should have been open, but in your I have found that other than port 80, some more ports, port 2021, which are used for FTP, and some SQL port, or maybe some email port, SMTP or POP3 port number for 25. All these ports are open. So after getting the report, the owner will hand over it to the management or to the system guy, the head of the system team. Then they will also check that whether that ports are open. If they found yes that ports are open, they will close those ports in their router firewall. So in this way, they will take the steps based on the report that has been generated by the ethical hacker. So this is the main purpose of ethical hacking. But mostly people are nowadays thinking that it is a legalized way of learning hacking. Definitely, there are certain tools in this course or even in an advanced course. There are certain tools which are the same tools which a hacker use. You will also learn to use those tools. But your job is to create a report to find out the bugs and then let the owner know that these bugs should be remediated and should be fixed. So this is the main purpose of ethical hacking. So here some definition. It is written: ethical hacking is a process wherein a hacker works for an organization or appointed as a reliable person. He is a reliable person. He is not an unauthorized person. To enter in the computer network or system by using the same uh, tools that a hacker use and checks the security vulnerabilities. And also, his job is to identify and eliminate the potential threats and weak areas the hacker can exploit. The actual hacker, the bad guy who can hack into your system and exploit. So those potential threats and weaknesses has to be identified by an ethical hacker. So he is a person who can prevent a hacker to hack into a system. So he gives you those data, those information about your system or your network so that you can prevent your network from getting hacked by a intruder. We call it intruder or a unauthorized hacker. So this was the basic definition. Okay. So there is a history like this hacking thing that in the last 10 years there is a rapid growth in computer technology. We know that even 10 years back people were not so much used to have this computer access and internet access. So they so the hacking thing was not so much prevalent at those times. But since now there are several ways of getting connectivity, uh, getting a WAN connectivity, and getting a global connectivity with different user all over the world. So since this feature has come up and everyone is getting connected to internet, to the global network, the public network. Internet is a public network. It's not a private network. So everyone, because 10 years back, people used to use small phones, which are not smartphones. You can call it unsmart phones. So those Symbian phones or QWERTY keypad phones, those doesn't have the feature of internet or any type of network connectivity. So there was no way people can hack into your mobile. So since nowadays everyone uses a smartphone or internet-enabled phone, so there are ways through which someone can get into your mobile or these digital devices. And so that's why since the use of internet has increased in the last 10 years, so the criminal activity has also increased in this internet related work. And this is, we call it cybercrime. Anything related to internet related fraud, or maybe destroying someone's data or getting unauthorized access. So this comes under cybercrime. Okay. Now, so illegal activities, we all know almost that these illegal activities are stealing important confidential data. Sometimes changing the data structure. Maybe you have defaced government website or maybe some corporate website you have gained access and you have changed their entire the view, the display, the way the website was getting displayed yesterday, now it is getting displayed in a different way. So those things uh, are the illegal activities that are happening nowadays. So now nowadays the role played by the computer is very much important in every field, whether it's corporate sector or whether it's uh, government sector. It is used as it is used a very necessary item in nowadays in every, even in educational sectors also. Without computers and without these digital gadgets, people cannot complete their courses and all uh, the course that they are doing. So this also has increased the level of cybercrime. There are certain uh, things related to cyber crimes like uh, theft of telecommunication services or communications in furtherance of criminal conspiracies, telecommunication piracy, uh, dissemination of offensive material, electronic vandalism, extortion, sales and investment fraud. Like sometimes you know that every day when we use Facebook or something, then some pop-ups come up that if you invest in this new product, it will double up your money and all these things. So these scams are all comes under cybercrime. When people are phishing, these are sometimes called phishing attacks. When people send you some email and those emails look like very much like a genuine mail from your bank or some authorized section, but still when you click on them, those link actually goes into some uh, link which is not of the actual server, but it is a server which is being taken care by a hacker. And if when you give all your credentials, your username and password, so everything the hacker gets from his link, and then he, with that original username and password, he can then log into your account and steal your data, or maybe if it's a bank account, then he can transfer your money. So these all things are coming under cybercrime. Okay. Now, information security uh, can again have two main domains. Okay. So In this session, we will mostly have the theory part of introduction and the knowledge of ethical hacking. And in the second session, in the afternoon, we will start to have some practical sessions also. Okay. So the computer security or the information security can again be broadly categorized into two categories. One is computer security and the other is information security. So what is the difference between these two? So one is it is about the application or information that are running into your computer system. So like the bugs, if there is some bug in a application that is running in your computer, so to protect that application from that bug or to debug that software, so that comes under computer security. And regarding information assurance, we can call it, it is an attribute of information security concerns that information or data is not lost when critical events takes place. Okay, so it is implemented by IT security specialists. So one is something that is related to the programs that are or the application that are running into a computer system. That is so finding those bugs or fixing those bugs comes under computer security. But if it's a IT infrastructure related some issue, some bug, then it comes under information security or information assurance. Now we have discussed many things about ethical hacking till now. So we know mostly that what is ethical hacking. It is unauthorized access and use of a computer denotes the presence of malevolent intentions. Is an act of breaking into the computer system with the intention of testing the system's vulnerability to attacks by hackers. So, okay, now uh, the ethical hacking has got 5 phases. When we will learn the practicals, there are 5 phases in ethical hacking. The first phase is called reconnaissance. Second is scanning. Third is gaining access. And fourth is maintaining access. And finally, fifth is clearing tracks. So we will learn each of them theoretically as well as in a hands-on practical way also. So So regarding reconnaissance, I will say it is a way by which the step one, which is step one, it is a way by which a ethical hacker collects information about his target before actually attempting to hack into his system. Before practically trying to hack into his system, these are the ways by which he gathers information. So that comes under reconnaissance. So like gathering information means like let's say I have been given to mm, do ethical hacking into a company's network. So the ways by which I will gain information is I will go into the company's website, and there every company's website has got some about section. I will read every details that is there in the company's website, when this company was when who is the owner of this company, what is the turnover of this company, what is the field where this company is working. So I will gain all those information from this website, company's official website, as well as if the company has got some Facebook page or Instagram page or some other social account, I will read those, I will visit those accounts and I will gain information about the target before actually trying my hands on accessing his network. So this gathering of information is called reconnaissance. And second phase is scanning. So scanning, as the name you can understand, uh, there are certain software tools in the industry that people use to scan a system as well as to scan a network. So if someone use a software to scan a system, we generally call it a vulnerability scanner. So there is a software called Nessus, NESSUS, Nessus. So it is a very popular vulnerability scanner software. So if someone uses that software, if he installs it in his system, then he can get to know what are the open ports or what are the flaws that are there in his system with that software, the Nessus software. And again, there are certain software like Nmap, network map, Nmap. So Nessus, N-E, okay, if I write something in the notepad, I think that will be easy. Nessus. Nessus. So this is a vulnerability assessment software. In short, we call it VA. Sometimes when if someone is trying to have a job role and he is looking for job in ethical hacking domain, so a term sometimes we see is VAPT. So this VA is actually it's a short form of vulnerability assessment, and PT, the full form of PT is penetration testing. So this VAPT job role is very much important for an ethical hacker. Vulnerability assessment is to so this Nessus software. Excuse me, this Nessus software is used for vulnerability assessment of a system. And penetration testing softwares, but Nessus actually it can do both. It can do vulnerability assessment as well as penetration testing. Again, I was talking about scanning. So uh, there is not a single. There are several scanning software, but the most popular one is Nmap. Okay, so Nmap is a scanner. It's a network scanner. So if someone wants to know that I want to attack into this network and what are the open ports through which I can gain access to this network, so he can use Nmap. If he installs Nmap in his system, then he can scan a particular IP range. And after scanning, if there are certain ports, whatever ports are open, the Nmap scanner will show you that these ports are open in this network range, and then you can try your hands gaining access on those ports. So so these two phases, one is reconnaissance and another is scanning. Now the third phase is gaining access. Okay, so gaining access is once you have gathered information, you have scanned the ports. Now the ways by which, with those available ports and those flaws that you have gained knowledge, now you have to gain access to the system. So that is gaining access. That is the third phase of ethical hacking. And in the fourth phase is once you gain your access, you need to maintain the access throughout the period, the time period when you will be doing all your testing and you will be generating the report. If maybe you have gained access for 5 minutes and again the access got disconnected after 5 minutes, so you will not be able to do all your create your report or do all your testing in the network. So you need to maintain the access in a stable way after you gain the access. And then the last phase is cleaning tracks. So cleaning tracks is see in every system, in a network system or maybe in any software system, if someone logs into your system, there is something we called it a log is generated. So anybody can tell me what is a log or any idea what is a log? Am I audible?
So whatever you do, that has been recorded.
Okay. So it is a log is a file which is created in most of the system, whether it's a computer system or it's a network system. So in the log file, actually, the informations are stored that whoever has logged into this system and whatever events has happened in this said system. Like say in a server, in a web server, everyone is accessing the web server. It's a maybe it's a portal of a government organization, or maybe it's a portal of West Bengal Board of Higher Secondary, and a result has come out. Maybe HS result has come out. So the system will create a log file with certain informations like uh, whoever logged in. Whoever logs means if there is some account, it will record that user account name that this user has logged in. So the user information, user info. And second thing is if uh, when he has logged in, when he has logged in, when the user logged in. Okay, so the time duration. So the log file will also maintain the time duration and how long he was there in the server. So how long the user was connected to the server, how long the user stayed on the server or system, whatever it is. So who has logged in, when has he has logged, and how long he was there. And again, some system informations are also saved in system. And now logs are of different types. Okay, so system can have uh, user log files, and again a system can have system log files. Okay, so system log file is something which will have the information that when this system has been powered on. Okay, uh, when it is powered on and how long it was powered on and when did it got restarted. Okay, and any link failure or not. So when it was powered on and how long it was powered on.
Sir, it is for system log file.
Any, yeah, log files can be of two or three types. One could be the user log files, and the things actually that I discussed is a user one. So this should be here. So if it's a user log file, it will gather the information about the users, when the users have come, how long they stayed, and when which account, which username through which they have logged in. So those are the user log files. And system log files is when the system has been powered on, how long it was powered on, any link failure or any hardware failure, any reboot that has been happened. Okay, any reboot or any link failure. So these are system related log files that are generated. Now why I'm discussing about the log files here is the last phase of ethical hacking. Whenever you enter into anybody's system, so it's a software system or any hardware system, so there must be some log will be generated in that system, and it will keep that log that okay, this person with so in case of user, there is one more information is IP address from which IP the user logged in, which IP the user logged in. So if the user is a local user who is staying in the local net of the office, So his IP will be a local IP. If the user is a hacker or someone who is entering into the server or business system from an external network through internet, so his IP will be a public IP. So from which IP he is accessing, that will also come into the user log files. So the person who is doing this task of ethical hacking, the last phase is the phase where his job is to delete all his tracks that he had logged in sometime and he had stayed there and he has done all those testing, scanning. So whatever logs that has been created in different systems of the network due to his ethical hacking task, so he will clear up all those logs. So that is a part of the ethical hacking job. After if you are done with all your report generation, everything, you need to create or you need to clean all the tracks wherever the information is there that you had logged in. So once you are done with your job, you should uh, clear your track. So this is the last phase. Okay. Anybody having any question, you can ask. Okay. So now the thing is the different types of hacker. Is my screen is viewable to everybody?
So it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the different types of hackers that are there. So you must have heard about this white hat, black hat, gray hat. So someone can one by one can tell me what is a who is a white hat or who is a black hat. About this. Okay, Ritesh has written that white hat hacker are nothing but ethical hackers. Okay, so that is a good one. And black hat and gray hat, what is the difference between black hat and gray hat?
So black hat
Black hat
hackers are those type of
hacker,
hackers uh, who access the computer unauthorizedly.
okay, means the actual hacker, what we call is a hacker, who is trying to gain access to your system with the intention of creating problems or harming you in maybe financially or maybe socially. If he wants to harm you. So the term hacker is generally for black hats. Whenever we use the term hacker, actually we want to mean black hat hackers. And for gray hat, uh, so Sarfraz has written who work as ethical, but sometimes they use infos for personal use. Okay. Ritesh has written partially ethical and partially unethical. Good one. It's a guess because if you mix the color white and black, so the gray color comes. So that's why you have answered in that way, that partially ethical and partially unethical. So the thing is, white hat hackers are definitely the ethical hackers whose intention is to create a report to prevent the network from getting actually hacked by a genuine black hat hacker. So these people who are protectors of the networks, they are called white hat hackers. And black hat hackers are the actual hackers who hack into your network. So gray hat hackers are generally these are peoples could be students or newbies or beginners who has just started hacking. They are not experienced fellows. Even they don't know much. They don't have much deeper knowledge into hacking. So they cannot harm you in such a big way because they have very less knowledge. But they try to hack because of fun. The main purpose is because of fun. They have just learned hacking, so they just do hacking for the purpose of fun and entertainment. But yes, if sometimes he gains access to some confidential data, then he can also harm you. But generally, they have very limited knowledge and they are just beginners in hacking field. So those people are called grey hat hackers. So here we have summarized what are white hat hackers. So the first thing, the last line says they are paid for their services. White hat hackers are hackers. They are professional, so they are paid for their they are legal professional. They are paid for their services. They will not come and try to hack your system unless and until you pay them. If you pay them, then only they will hack. And a normal black hat hacker will hack you, and then he will try to commercialize whatever he has gained from your network. But a white hat hacker will only hack you if you come with an agreement with him that you will pay him, or if you advance some amount of him, then he will hack your system. So he's a paid professional. And other things are use their hacking skills for defensive purpose. As I told, they are the protectors of the network, and they are computer security professionals who are employed by enterprises and organizations, perform completely legal activities since they have the enterprise and organizations permissions to engage in hacking activities, locate weaknesses in computer systems, and implement countermeasures. So whatever these all parameters or characteristics are the characteristics of the ethical hacker. So that's why we call him white hat hacker. And black hat are the malicious hackers, also known as crackers. Sometimes the word could be crackers, who break into computer system with malicious intentions, access to the computer system in unauthorized way, and therefore illegal. The main thing is whatever they are doing illegal, not legal. Hack into computer system with the intention of stealing information or destroying data. Either they can steal information and sell those information in some commercial market where he will get some money against it. Let's say if some hacker gains access to a HR admin's machine. HR means human resource professional. Every corporate sector have a HR team. So even nowadays, I think some schools and colleges are also having HR department. So these HR people are those who take care of the employees' personal details. They have all the biodata and CV of all the employees in the organization. They hire people. If someone gives resignation, they take care of all those things. So their computer has got all the personal details of all the employees, their phone numbers, their home address, their PAN number, their Aadhaar card number, everything is there. So if someone gets access to some HR professional's machine, so he will get access to the personal details of all the employees of the company. Now, what he will do with this information? This is not money. This is some information. So he can sell this information to some uh, marketing agency, to those marketing agencies which sell this email address, this phone number, everything is sold in the market. As we know that when we take a SIM card, a mobile card, a new SIM, we get a number. Now, this number that we get from the mobile service provider, it is registered in their book that this number has been assigned to me with my name, with my PAN number. This is uh, this is getting registered in their book. Now, the person who is selling me the SIM card, he is also keeping some information because, to take a SIM, we need to submit a PAN card or Aadhaar card or anything, a photo ID proof, photocopy or something. So they are also taking that photocopy. So maybe from the company's server, the data can be stolen, or maybe the person, the shop owner who is selling me the SIM card or on a hand-to-hand basis, he can also sell this information to some marketing agencies. And what these marketing agencies will do, they will give you advertise in the way of SMS, WhatsApp messages. In your email, you will see some new emails are